Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Foss, and today I'm going to show you how I set up my Pokemon streams over on Streamlabs OBS. So if you want to set up your stream, just like I have here, there's a Kyogre here. Can I find that? Did we find it? Come on. What? I hang around and see what I have to say. But again, I'm using Streamlabs OBS, but this should also work with OBS. If you can see at the bottom of my screen here, I'm actually using OBS to record this. It makes it a little bit easier, makes it a little bit cleaner to see. But I'm going to show you how I set up my Citra Nightly here emulator for my Nintendo 3DS game. Currently, I'm running Alpha Sapphire. But again, this should work with any game. Aspect ratios might be a little bit different between game to game. So just keep that in mind. First of all, let's just open up Streamlabs here before we get too caught up in Citra. So this is just a completely blank slate. Okay. If you start brand new, you should see a couple things on the side here. And that is whatever you're using to hear the sound. Headphones, for example, or the microphone as well that I'm speaking into. You can see it's picking up all kinds of stuff. If I stop talking, it's picking up the hum from my computer itself. I'll show you how to fix that here in a little bit. But over here, we can come down to the little cog. We'll hit that cog. And I'll bring this up here. So all kinds of different stuff. I highly recommend if you want to record your streams, like editing in the future, Davinci Resolve is a great place to start with free editing software. Very in-depth, top to bottom. But in the stream here, log into whatever you use. So whether it's Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, choose which one you use. The output here for stream, you'll always be using audio track 1. Okay, no need to change that. Okay, just keep that 1. Everything else I kind of just leave the same. Bitrate you can adjust up and down depending on how much your computer can handle. Higher the bitrate, the cleaner the video should be, but the more likely you are to drop frames. But if you want to record, come over to this recording tab and choose which audio tracks you want to actually record. So everything you want to play to the audience as you're streaming, you're going to be playing that on audio track 1. I'll show you that here in a second. But everything you want to record, you'll have on audio tracks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever works. Recording format, I choose MP4. That's just me. But choose whatever you want to do. Some people choose MKV. But MP4 is the way I'm going to roll, whatever works. But for audio here, the next tab down, we will choose, maybe this is disabled and this is disabled. So you have nothing in your mixer. Just do what I did, just the opposite. So choose what you want to listen through. So for me, I'll choose my headset I'm not wearing, but it's still going to be playing the sound. For my mic here, I will be choosing my Yeti blue microphone. So those are saved in there. If you have any alerts and you want to hear them yourself through your headset, I'll show you how to do that as well. If you want them to just play the audience and they're the only ones that hear it, then you don't need to do this next option. But if you want to hear it yourself, go into this advanced tab. You'll have to set up an audio monitoring device. To do so, just click on default, choose whichever one you want to use. So again, the headset earphone, and choose that. And then you can hit done. So again, now all this is over here again. And like I went through with the recording of the tracks here, you don't need all these extra ones on here. Again, to get to that, it was just this little cog here. Just click that and it brings you into this. And this monitor off just means that you're not going to be hearing everything that plays again. If you turn monitor on, like monitor and output, every time I talk, you can see it's popping up on my earphones here too. My headset's now picking up myself. I'll be hearing myself twice. If I want to just monitor it, again, it's still making that sound because it's coming through my headset, which I'm recording. But I'll just leave that as off. But if you want like sound alerts, something like that, you want to hear it, both you and the audience, just put it under that. It'll work. But we'll close out of this. Let's take a look at this. I'm just going to show you only the gameplay setup. So I'm going to right click this. I'm just going to rename it gameplay. And we need to add a background. So let me just get rid of my little webcam here. So we'll add a background. Choose whatever you want. Well, let me just choose the same background I use for my webcam. Okay, so there's that. I'm gonna right click that, transform, and we're going to stretch to fit screen. Again, it's not clean, it's not made to be this big. Or if you want to download something else here, I'm gonna just hit this little disable button and I'll show you something else here. So if we want a moving background instead, we'll have to go into this media source. It'll have to be one of these file formats. I have an MP4, I believe it is. So let's just do moving background. Browse. And I just have a moving Pokemon background. It's a local file. I'm going to loop it so that way it just repeats over and over again. I don't want it to restart every time I come back into this. And also I want to show something afterwards. So when playback ends, I want it to loop. And then it's going pretty fast. So I'm just going to slow it down a little bit so it's not going through this as fast. I'll hit done. Same thing. I'm going to right click on it. Go down to transform and stretch the screen. So now here's my moving Pokemon background. Again, if you want this, you can download it in the description below. There's something I made myself over on Davinci Resolve. But here I'm just going to lock this so it's stuck in place. And I will want to add the webcam. My webcam right now I'm using for my OBS, so it's not going to really work. Let me just change something quick here. Okay, so let's add that webcam in here. So if I click the plus again, we'll do the video capture device, add source. Let's do webcam, add source, and I have the Logitech C930E. And you can see here, I have a green screen behind me. Yeah, do what you need to do if you want to just play with your regular room. You can adjust the webcam, of course, by just transforming it, and you can do edit transform. You can crop as much as you want off above you, beside you, below you, whatever you want. So like, let's just say I want to take off 50 from above me. These are all in pixels, by the way. So let's just do 100. Gives you that more widescreen look like most webcam frames have, but just adjust it to your webcam frame. That being said, just pull one of those in here. So again, I have a webcam frame I got for free, just off the internet, of course. Just type in free webcam overlays. They're all over the place. Download whatever one you think looks nice. So to add a new image though, we'll have to hit this add a new source instead. Do webcam overlay, add source, browse, and then choose your webcam overlay. The same one I just showed you at the beginning of the video here. Again, you can see I don't really fit into there. You can still see a little bit of my green screen above it and below it. So I can adjust that. And then maybe we just want to shrink up my background here. There, now you have the webcam and the webcam overlay. If you want these to move together, you just choose each one. Right click, and we can group these together. So go down to group, group into a folder, and we'll just name this webcam. So now these are both grouped together. So if I grab this, they're going to move together. You can move it wherever you want it to be. Here. So something like that. If I want to lock it in place, I can lock it in place. If I want to make it disappear, just hit this little eye icon. And I'm gone. Or I can bring it right back. If you want to get rid of that green screen behind you, open up this little webcam folder again. Click on your webcam itself. Right click. And we're going to add a filter. The filter we will add is Chroma Key. So my camera isn't a fantastic camera by any means. Okay, so I need to do this manually. Some cameras have the Chroma Key built in. Depends on how you use it and which camera you have. If you need to add this yourself, use the Chroma Key, hit done, and you can see here it's doing a pretty dang good job at just taking out that background already. If you need to adjust it at all, just mess around with the similarities a little bit. So you can see here, crank it way up, it's going to take me out of the picture as well. If I crank it way down, it's going to pick up that green again. So just adjust it. You can use the settings I have here. That works pretty well for my camera. You do have to have a good light source though on the background itself. Otherwise, every time you have a shadow and something moving across, it's going to pick that up instead. So I'll do that. And I'll minimize that again. But now you don't want to see just the background and me here. Maybe you want something else behind you, like that F you saw earlier, this one here. So what we can do is move that up and into this webcam frame. But let's just adjust its size a little bit here. We'll shrink it down. I want this to be behind both me and the webcam overlay. You can see if I move it up here and just adjust it as necessary. Something like that. Boom. Now I have a new background behind me. It looks pretty clean. Not too bad at all. So again, I can just lock this in, just so that way it all moves independently, or else it's just going to stay. So I can't grab it and move it. Or if I unlock it, it's all going to move together as long as I have everything highlighted down here. So there's that. Let me just put me down here. Lock myself in there. The next thing we're going to do is add that Citra nightly emulator to this. So open up Citra, open up whatever file you want to use. Like I said, I have Alpha Sapphire. I'm playing a CXI file. That's a whole other story in itself. Okay, it's kind of difficult to set this up. But I'll open this up here. So what Alpha Sapphire is playing. And we'll have to look at something else now, because we need to add that video into what we have here. To do so, hit the plus icon, do window capture, we'll add source. We're going to name this Citra top screen. For the window itself, choose Citra nightly. And boom, now you have that, but you don't want this in the background. So what we're going to do is crop it. And if you want to, you can make this full screen. It might look a little bit better that way. But to crop it, again, just hit edit transform. Mess around with this a little bit. So if I just take 5 off, it's not going to do much. If I do 25, I can take that whole top off. On the sides, I believe it's 450 on each. 550 maybe. This is just going to be a rough estimate. And then I just want the top screen, not the bottom screen. So I'm going to crop off the entire bottom here. So let's just do another 550. Too much? 500, not enough. 525. Boom. It's like that. I have just the top screen by itself. Snap that up there. Increase this in size a little bit. Again, my webcam's just kind of there. So let's just move me a little bit further away. Top screen here. You can see there's a little bit blacker on the edges, so I could just go back to edit transform, take off a little bit more. Let's just do 560. And there, got rid of those black edges around that. I don't want this to overlap my webcam frame at all. I can have it just a little bit bigger. So you can see there's overlap here. Again, just drag this down below the webcam. And now your webcam frame is over the top of it. Up here, I want that back screen or the bottom screen. So we're going to add another one. We'll do window capture yet again. We're going to add a new source. This time we'll name it Citra bottom screen. Same exact thing again here. So what I'm going to do is again crop off everything I don't need here. So right click, transform, edit transform. So there now we have just the bottom screen by itself, which you can move up here. And I'm going to shrink it up so it's barely even there. And then you don't want these to overlap too much, it'll kind of look bad. What you can do is just take that bottom screen, drag it beneath the top screen, So that way if there's any overlap, it goes underneath instead of over the top of the top screen. And then it kind of looks a little bit bigger above me. So what I can do is just add a little icon in there like I have on my streams. So I can just add source or image. I'm going to add a new source. This I'm going to do the Alpha Sapphire logo. If you want this, just Google search Pokemon Alpha Sapphire PNG logo. You'll find all kinds of options. But get this pulled up here. So there we go. No background in there at all. And there, we can just add this in here so people know what I'm playing. And you can put that in the description as well. Put something like that. Again, we can just lock things as we go along so we're not accidentally grabbing something here. And then, what else do you want in there? Do you want a viewer count? Right there. So again, just hit OK, or let's go back. Hit the plus here. Brings up everything over here. We do widgets. So we do viewer count, add source, and we'll do Twitch viewers. We'll do add source again. Change this to whatever size you need it to be. I'm going to do 200 by 100. If you're using YouTube or Facebook, adjust that as necessary. You can change the font size, font style, the source. I choose not to shut down when not visible because I like it to just keep the chat rolling if I'm switching between scenes. Make that whatever size you want, put it there, and we will lock that in there. So there we have a good start. But I want to see the chat as well. I like to see the chat, especially when I'm doing the recordings for YouTube. So let's add the chat. So same thing, we'll hit the plus button. We'll add the chat box right here. Add source. Up here, we'll name this Twitch chat. We'll add the source. And now if I move this aside here, you can see how big this box is. I don't need it that tall, but I do want it wider. So what I'm going to do is, for the width, I'm going to change that to 1200. For the height, I'm just going to change that to 300. Now let's do 400, so it goes behind the picture a little bit here. Again, same thing, change the font size, change the chatter, you can hide like exclamation point commands, all that good stuff. So we'll do that. Drop that below. If the chat's going, I don't want it to overlap over the top of my video. I'm going to drag this down to below. I'm going to increase this a little bit taller here. Below the top screen as well. So that way, as chat fills up, it's going to go behind this. So let me just give you an example of that quick here. So if I just do my stuff here. And there you go. It's going behind the game, like I said. The size of the chat, I like. If you want to make it a little bit bigger, like I said, you can just go into the settings there and adjust that. So if you need to go back in, you choose this properties. So right click, properties, go up to font settings. You can crank it up to, let's just say, let's do 40. See how that looks. Everything's going to disappear. So, hit that in again. A little bit bigger there. Maybe a little bit easier to read. Then one more thing you really want to add, you can lock these if you're done using them, is an alert box. So when people follow, sub, anything like that, if they raid you, you want that to pop up on your screen so everyone knows. So to add that, go back into here, hit plus, hit alert box, and we'll add source. I'll just keep it named alert box. That works for me. And this brings you up to the settings. So all kinds of different settings. You can adjust some of these from Streamlabs itself, the website. Otherwise, like default, you can change the animation if you want to do something like fade in, fade out, or like slide in, slide out. Media, you can add your own media, of course. There's all kinds of different options that they have for you. So if you hit this right here, it's where you add your own. So you add your own image URL, or just change media. And they have all kinds of different options. These are ones I've downloaded myself. Stock files, stock images. They already have Pokemon ones in there. Choose whatever works best for you. And then there's that. So now put that anywhere you want. I like to personally have it just right beside me here. A little bit bigger. So now if I just test my widgets here, they'll show up saying like following, whatever it needs to be. If anybody is donating, it'll show bits and everything like that. All that stuff. I like to keep this one at the very top. So that way even if I have it over my video, it's going to show up. Make it as big or as small as you want. You can adjust the sound that's coming out of the back, or coming out of it, by going back into properties and go back to global settings. And control audio via OBS here. And I also like to not shut down the source when it's not visible. So if you shut down the source when it's not visible, it allows you to use this on a different scene as well. Otherwise, if it's open on one scene, you open up another scene, it's going to screw the whole thing up. So if you're only using one scene over here, like the gameplay one I have here, then you can turn this off so that way it's always running. Otherwise, you can keep it back on, but you can control the audio via OBS. And now it should pop up over here. If I hit follow, you can see here, it's playing that sound to the audience to hear. Now there's all kinds of extra stuff on here, like my moving background has no sound. My webcam, don't need to hear that. Click the cog, go through here. I would recommend just switching these to 0, so that way you don't hear some random noise once in a while. But also, hide a mixer. We're going to hide most of these that we don't want to see anyways in the mixer. We're going to unclick these so it's not recording anything or trying to record anything. And once we've done all that, wait to the alert box. I want this to show up in my videos, so I'm going to keep that as 2 so it's mixed in with the headphone sound. Over here, turn this off, but I'm going to turn this one on to monitor and output. So what that does is, an alert happens, I'm going to hear it in my headset. I'm going to hear it in my headset. I'm also going to hear it in the computer itself, which means everyone can hear it, but when it records, it should record for everyone to hear. It might sound like an echo to some people though, so keep that in mind. If you don't want it to output, you can just do monitor only. If you have monitor off, you're not going to hear the alert there. So, but yeah, if you want to hear it and you don't want it to record, just do monitor only. So there's that. There. So again, if I hit follow, it's going to make a bunch of noise there. Okay, so like I said, that's the basic setup here. Pretty simple stream setup. Again, you can download all kinds of overlays and stuff like that for this. But one more thing I'm going to show you. So again, I have the game volume in the background. You can slide this bar up and down to adjust the game volume. But what I like to do is just keep it wide open. Go into this cog here. Go to filters. And we're going to add a filter here. So for this filter, I'm going to add a limiter. I'm going to set that at -30. The background sound, unless you really want to hear the game, should be between 25 and 30 below 0. So -30 or -25. And I can see here it's in the nice green area. When you're speaking into the microphone, you really don't want to be up in this red here. So again, you can just adjust this. But what that does is it really makes lots of like louds and quiets when you're talking, just because that's the way people talk. They move in and out. You want to be a consistent volume most of the time. So what I would highly recommend doing, again, keep that wide open. Hit the little cog here, and we're going to add a few different filters. Again, also if I just be quiet. This microphone is still picking up a lot of sound. This is a condenser microphone. It's made to pick up sound all over the place. And even though it's set to cardioid mode, so it's only picking up what's coming straight at it, still picks up a lot of background noise. So the first thing we're going to do is just get rid of that. So again, microphone, cogwheel, filters, no filters yet, so let's add one. And the first one we're going to do is noise suppression. Done. A couple different methods here. Do speaks, or you can do RNN noise, depending on how good of a computer you have. Just choose what works best for you. I'm gonna use RNN noise, just let the computer do it itself. Then we'll hit the plus icon here again. And the next one we'll add here is a noise gate. So noise gate makes it so the microphone doesn't pick up anything below a certain level. So it's not gonna pick up things like you tapping on your keyboard or like hitting the table, something like that. Let's hit done. And this gives us a little threshold here. And what we want to do is set this threshold at the quietest you'll ever speak. I like to just keep it around the -32 point. I'm never whispering into my microphone. I don't want to sit here doing this for the next half hour. But set the open threshold to 10 decibels above that. So I'm going to set it -22. I don't touch these down here. You can look into what each one of those means if you want to. But now you can see my microphone goes all the way back down to 0 when I'm not speaking. It's not picking up that background noise. I can tap on my keyboard, which I'm doing right now. It's not picking that up either. So less background noise as we go along. A couple other things that I will add. I'm going to use a compressor. And for this one here, I'm going to adjust a few of these things. So for the ratio, I'm going to set that to 4. So the industry standard is 4. The threshold itself, again, just adjust this however you would like it to be. I'm going to put -23. Again, I'm going to leave the bottom down here, but I'm going to increase the output gain. And you can do some sidechain ducking. You can choose what you want to duck. And this is going to duck something behind your voice. So if you're speaking, you want the gain to be quieter so people can hear you more clearly. You choose what you want to duck. So if I choose headset, earphones, not every time I speak, the game should actually get a little bit quieter so that way it's easier to hear me in the recordings from then on. But now I can see I'm getting way too loud. I'm still way up in this red. So again, I can adjust the volume and stuff on the microphone, but let's just let the computer do it. One more filter. We're going to add a limiter again. This time we're going to set the threshold at -10 because that puts me right at the top of that yellow mark there. So I'm not going into the red ever, but it's just at the right point where it's not going to sound crackly and everything's pretty consistent across the board for volumes. I'm not having those highs and lows I need to try to adjust post-production. It's nice consistent volume throughout. As long as I'm not screaming into the microphone, it should sound pretty good. And there you have it. That's the whole setup I have. A little bit different than what you see for my streams because I don't use the background for the webcam here. And I have a couple extra things up above me as well. If you want something to say like randomizer above you, randomizer nuzlocke, something like that, you can take off like this Twitch viewers here. And I'll just show you this really quick here. I'm going to add another source, randomizer. And we'll just throw this in here quick. So something like this. And if you want some nice text graphics, I would highly suggest going into the link in the description for the text generator. All kinds of great options, including like a Pokémon font. I like to just use this one. It's nice and clean. It's good for like YouTube, thumbnails, stuff like that. You'll probably see in the thumbnail for this video. But that being said, that's all I have for this video. I hope you find this helpful. But until next time, guys, take it easy. Have a good night. Check out other videos in the playlists on my channel here. I've done plenty on Pokemon Snap. Lots of walkthroughs, stuff like that. I did complete a Pokemon Heart Gold randomized Nuzlocke, and that video is up on my channel, and it'll be in the description below as well. It's a great video. Please go check it out. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. Remember to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Only about 2% of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. So I'm a new channel, I need your help. Just let me know what you think though. And I hope to catch you guys on the next one. Have a good night. See ya. Bye.